Welcome to the Champion Blueprint Podcast, where mindset meets mission.
We're diving into what it really takes to lead, win, and live with purpose.
From NFL locker rooms to boardrooms, it's all about discipline, core values, and the habits that build champions.
Whether you're leveling up in business, life, or leadership, this is your playbook.
Champion your mindset.
Champion your purpose.
Let's go.
And we're back once again. George Rogers, the champ, Gary Brackett. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm admiring those kicks, man.
You know, I had to bring them. I had some of my basketball kids over at the house grilling out.
I think you have to show. I don't think they see it in the frame.
And so I'll take them off. These are some throwbacks, man. This is when basketball was basketball for me. With the Iverson. I don't wear Reebok a lot. I'm a Nike guy typically for tennis shoes.
What does it say?
That's Iverson, yeah. So it's Reebok with the gold. So
those were the memorable AIs.
Yeah, those are the AIs. The great 76er days before the process became a trust the process moment over there. But always rocking something different. You got to bring something out of the closet to be able to show and expose. And speaking of some of those things coming out, one of the most hidden holidays out of the year, you would think it'd be a top 5, top 10, is knocking at the door here. And it's one that often gets overlooked. Like,
absolutely,
top 2 holidays in the year is Christmas and Mother's Day, and rightfully so. You want to, you're celebrating those holidays. But when we talk about Father's Day, and we talk about the significance of men, and especially in the house, we talk about all the impacts and the values, and looking at our lives, 2 separate situations, growing up without knowing my birth father, having a family, and then being adopted. There's all these different things. Now, you've been called champion.
Yeah.
You've been called, what people will say, some of the worst things, a walk-on, unrecruited, undrafted, all these different things, entrepreneur, keynote speaker, all these titles. And we kick off every episode. I always kick off every episode after I say my name. I'm looking at you as a champ, right? Yeah. And you get all these different titles. What is the most important title to you? As we're around this
It's
season?
crazy you say that, but dad by far.
Yeah.
And what you're mentioning is that, Father's Day oftentimes gets overlooked. And I think here, not even recently, but there's been, in my opinion, a huge shift of the involvement of parents like in their kids' life. Yeah. Oftentimes what we don't want to see, and what some people experience, what like absent fathers not showing up in life, that kind of gets highlighted. Yeah. So like we all think of this blanket effect, like all fathers are this way. But that's not the case. There's some really good dads out there and some really good fathers that are not only financially supporting their family, but also they're mentally, physically, emotionally, all the things. So shout out to the dads out there. Shout out. Today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're talk about fathers today and the impact that we have in our kids' lives and kind of what we can do.
Yeah, it's good transition as far as the impact that we have on kids' lives. Because I literally just had these conversations and it was funny that we wanted to kind of highlight this, and it's good focus. Dexter, when we first adopted him, he was 2 years old, very mute, didn't talk a lot, right? Just kind of never used his words. It was always like actions. When he was hungry, he'd stand in the kitchen behind Amber, who was cooking. We're like, right, do these weird signals. If he wanted something to drink, he'd be like, right. And so it just signals, because he never had to. It was always, somebody was always serving him. Just if somebody was eating, he was eating. Right. And so you had all these actions. And as he grew older, and I miss some of these cute phases and young kid phases, the voice, the laughs, right? But we used to do a thing called due dates. And one of my favorite memories from a father to a son in your relationship was these due dates. He wanted to go on due date, right? All it is now, he's 11, about to be 12 this fall, and he'll want to talk about due date. He'll want his friends to know what a due date is. He's like, Dad, just kind of have some man time, some father-son time. Like it's different now. What is something, and I'll answer this too, but I want to ask you, what do you think is one thing your kids will remember? Right now, if I was to say, hey, what's one of your favorite memories, or what's something that you really love about your dad right now, that you tradition, it could be a one-off type of thing. What do you think it will be? I know you got a couple of them, so maybe different for your girls than what it is for Gary.
I think one of the things that I realized, especially when I got separated and eventually divorced from the mom was that one of my best abilities is my availability. And my career, my life could have took a totally different path in regards of like being a CEO, traveling, a lot, having companies and, all the things. And I would miss a lot. And with 3 kids, I mean, there's a lot of juggling. Even with 2 people is hard, right? Getting everybody everywhere. So just made the conscious decision to really focus my efforts at home in Indiana and just being available. I think just being there, because sometimes it's like someone's getting an award or it's a game or something like that. And, I'm in the audience. And I think my availability, I think the kids would really remember, like, man, my dad was always there. And that's something I kind of pride myself on. Yeah.
That's dope. I think one of the things, and we talk about this a lot in leadership. We talk about showing up for people. And I think one of the challenges that we as fathers make, and T.D. Jakes said this probably 15, 20 years ago. He said men are really stuck in this torn between 2 lovers. It's a struggle. If you're at home, you're not providing enough. And if you're out of the house, then you're gone too much. And so how do you find that balance to where you're being able to show up not just for other people while you're making money and providing for your family, but showing up for yourself, but also showing up for your family and what that looks like for everybody. My life changed. My perspective, I would say, changed because my mentality was always, if I'm providing, we're going on vacations. We're going to, instead of one, maybe vacation, we're going to take 2 or 3 trips. You got a spring break. We're going to do a summer trip before you go back to school. We're going to do a fall break trip. And those trips may be 3 days and maybe 7 days. And one may be a cruise. And so it's like, if I'm working hard and I'm saving up this money to be able to do these things and have these experiences with the mentality that I can take all this money with me when I die, right? It changed when I moved to Nashville and I was under the leadership of Daryl Freeman Sr. and Rod McDaniel. And they literally, Rod told me very strictly, listen, you can miss practice, but if you miss your son's game working here, you won't be working here. No. Like that was important. To the fact that where Mr. Late Daryl Freeman, one of his fears was heights, and he's sharing how to get over that. It was a 2-way thing. He got his pilot license because he wanted to hold the principle. If I'm doing business somewhere else and my kids got, activity going on, then I'm getting back for the activity. That's awesome. And so like the steps that it takes to say, hey, listen, the priority is always the priority, and that's the family, right? Family first. But I always think about, will Dexter remember dad works hard so we can go on trips? Or will he remember, man, we walked to the store after a game and got some ice cream from the corner store around the corner of the house and walked a half a mile there, half a mile back. Like those small things, right? Those conversations that can happen, because we think in the grand scheme of things, and a lot of people say Gary Brackett was on one of the biggest stages of in the world, right? That's something that his kid's going to love him about that. And I'm thinking, well, what if you realize maybe one of the kids wasn't even born?
I can remember, and one day I got some really cool friends, and they coach college football, NFL football. So one weekend we got to go to a college game on the sideline, then an NFL game on the sideline, do all the things. And my son's like, man, that's really cool. Like if you coach professional, I could be on the sideline more and get to see meet all these people all the time. I'm like, that's true, but it's more to that. I'm probably going to be in Indiana, right? So you're probably going to be home. I'll probably see you on in the summertime. You'll probably come to a game or 2 a year, right? And a lot we do things we do right now. When we give it to coach you, he was like, nah, I'd rather be here. And
it quickly changes from an experience that you're living in, and that's true to this day, because I think it all boils down to when I'm traveling, if there's a potential that I'm gonna miss a game, I gotta get permission. That's just my mentality. Dexter, are you okay with me, potentially missing this game, or I will be missing this game if I accept this situation? Where do you get there? Because, and I feel like it's important as men that we communicate to our children.
Absolutely.
Like you don't have the mentality, I don't need to explain nothing to you. It just doesn't work, because I remember when Tim McNamee showed up to my sporting events. I also remember the times where I had nobody in that crowd, and I'm looking at the stands at Ben Davis Junior High. Right? They won't remember the awards. They won't remember, you on stage. Dexter tells his friends about my opportunity. I had an opportunity to do one-on-one with Magic Johnson on a stage, and he remembered that moment. But he forgot about that moment when I missed an opportunity, or I missed showing up, or I promised, hey, we'll have dues date, but I worked a little bit longer than I need to. But he remembers that, hey, you owe me a dues date. Magic Johnson suddenly went out of his head.
Yeah,
one of his favorite players. He was watching some film. He's like, man, I liked it. It went out of his head the moment I missed an opportunity. And I think as we think about some things and showing up for our kids, I think the clarity and communication aspects, we talk about those words a lot,
Absolutely.
but I think clarifying, and not necessarily that you had to explain, but I think even if you explain that to a child, they sense they understand that, hey, I'm not ignoring you. I'm not, neglecting. I just want you to know that this is what's going on, and this is why. How can I make it up to you?
Yeah.
Right. And being able to do that. I want to talk a little bit about the impact of presence versus productive. Right. And I'll say and explain that it's the only way I know how. When I'm not traveling, I'm home. Unless I'm going to a coffee house every once in a while, I'll try to get out of the house and work somewhere around the city, or go to a different local, some family owned coffee spot, something unique in the state. But just because you're in the house doesn't mean that you're always productive.
Right.
Can you share a little bit about the importance of not just being present, but being productive? Because for me, being in the house all the time doesn't necessarily mean that there's a productive relationship, or that I'm impacting his life as a father, as a man, just because my presence is there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could be in a house and everyone could be strangers, right? Everyone's on their devices, doing their own thing, not talking, not communicating. So I think it's important for me. It's just like those subtle touches. Like if I'm in a room and one of my kids is in a room, I feel like I gotta say something. I gotta mess up their hair. I gotta hit them on the shoulder. I gotta do something to let them know that I see them. That I acknowledge them. You know what I'm saying? Like in the room, right? The same thing. Somebody come to the room, they come home like, yo, like, hey dad, what's up? How was your day? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I think those moments have to be, and sometimes you could get caught like, well, no one said it to me. Like this is one of the areas where we have to be a leader in.
Yeah.
Right. And that is that communication and that emotional piece where I think oftentimes it's this thing, people don't care how much you know till you know how much you care. Mm-hmm. And if you want to be involved in some big decisions and when something huge happens in their life, I think they got to know that you care about, all the little things as well. And I think that just fosters a better relationship with your children, with your family.
Yeah. And I think some of the important things that I learned, what were really impacting my life from a relationship with my pops, Tim, is it wasn't just his presence. It was how he showed me what he was doing and why he was doing what he was doing, right? It was almost as if his presence became a purpose in that sense of, hey, George, I want to show you this, right? And so growing up, I didn't know how to shave. I didn't know how to change a tire. I didn't know what it was like to change oil until he showed me that process. Instead of just doing it and having me there, sitting and watching, like giving me a purpose, handing a tool, telling me what and why, the procedures that it take, understanding that you don't want to change tires on a hill. Or in a embankment, right? And if you do, how to be able to block the tires out. So those simple things that being present, but also being productive, like putting the hands to the plow. One of the things that Dexter and I are doing and enjoying to do typically, and we both got big yards, but I didn't want to buy a riding lawnmower, right? I just wanted something to show hard work, but also he needs to do some endurance during the summer. So every other week, instead of my lawn guy coming every week, I said, hey, listen, every other week I'm buying a lawnmower, just FYI, and we're going to knock it out. And it's brutal. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, everybody's like, woof. That's a hard lesson. That's being productive.
But I also share in this is that I enjoy the process of cutting grass. I love the lines. I love it. But I would rather, deep down inside, I would rather just go around a corner on 31 and buy me a lawnmower or ride a lawnmower because it's a big yard. But it's the process of him and I having that moment where he's embracing that challenge, he's embracing that grind, but I also teaching him the importance of cutting grass, the importance of, checking your oil, checking your fluids. That and the technique of it all, and so it's that father-son bonding time, and then it becomes a competition. Who's going to cut it better? Whose lines are going to be better? Whose lines are going to be right? And it's just that moment and that value of teaching him simple things that we can do around the house. The importance of, hey, you got chores done. You about to be in middle school. You got some chores in the
Absolutely.
house, and raising up as a young man. Share a little bit about the value of some of the things that you take honor in teaching. Like, for me, it was cutting grass. For me, it's literally like the importance of your shoes. And, I'm a shoe guy. Keeping your shoes clean.
Yeah. Right. I think for me is honor your commitments. When you say you're going to do something, do it.
Yeah.
Timeliness. Right. Like map out in your head where you going to go, then reverse engineer what time you have to be ready to be there on time. It's like a sign of respect.
Yep.
Just respecting people's time is like so when it's my responsibility to get the kids somewhere, like I want to be 15 minutes, 20 minutes early.
Yeah.
Right. And let them know we show up, we're prepared, we're ready to go. And that's a key skill to have in life, right? Because so many people show up not ready. And it's like, no, we're showed up, we prepared, we did our pre-work. And now we can just really excel at what it is that we're going to do because we're overly prepared for that moment.
Yeah. And I think it's, when it comes to the work ethic that you're speaking of, and also understanding, even if somebody is not going to respect your time, like honoring your time and understanding that it's important. And I think that's important principle to establish, especially in today's generation. I'm thinking about our basketball teams. I'm always 30 minutes. We're 30 minutes early before our basketball game starts at 5 o'clock last night. Everybody needs to show up before 30 ready. Yeah. Right. So shoes on. You already did a pre-stretch. We're going to do a team stretch together, but you did what you need to do to be ready for the next phase, just in case games in early and before you're starting early or you're starting 5-10 minutes. You're mentally prepared for those things. The success sometimes takes away of time. Yeah. The grind sometimes takes away the addiction of men working sometimes robs us of that gift, that time with our people. And sometimes, i.e. George Rogers, 2000 to 2000, probably 10, worked to hide from realities. Yeah. Right. And so there's a lot of men that are working hard to ignore situations. There's a lot of men that are working hard because, came 2016, I didn't know what it was like to be a father to a son. Like that mentality, I was afraid of, to be honest, because although I was adopted, it was like, how do I be a black father to a black child in this world and teach him the things that he's going to face, the things that he potentially could face, right? And then the necessary things that it takes. What is the importance of that value? I want to talk about the value of that time, not just teaching them the principles of time and all that stuff like that's one step of it. But how do you value the time of fatherhood? For me, I remember last month I was at a conference and Michelle Obama was sharing a personal story with her family. And it was evident throughout the whole thing of her session. No phones were allowed. Yeah. No smart glasses, nothing, right? We're going to be in the presence of each other. And we're going to go old school. And that was a principle that she was raised on, especially at the table. Yeah. And back then, obviously, technology was different. Maybe it was Etch-a-Sketch. Shout out to the people that grew up on Etch-a-Sketch like myself. But it was the value of when we're at the table, we're asking 3 questions. Yeah. How was your day? How are you? What can I do for you? Yep. Right? Just those 3 questions. How do what's your vision? What's your thoughts on the value of time and having strategic, like this is our day, every Tuesday, whatever that day is, but what's the value of time when it comes to like, this is family time, no matter what? I think it's that communication for me is like game night. Yeah. All right, we're going to have game night, getting everyone's order, whether it's going to be pizza, popcorn, snacks, whatever that is, what games we're going to play. But just kind of setting the tone of having that kind of environment and people just having fun. And I really see their personalities come out, when they're playing games. They could get creative, they could get silly, they could get serious, they could get competitive. Yeah. So it kind of gets all the juices flowing. And I think you want to see that, right? You want to see your kid not bottled up, not afraid to laugh, not afraid to say something. You want to see that. So for me, that's always near and dear to my heart as I try to stay young
right? I think getting that to my family is something that we hold dear.
Yeah. I think one of the coolest things that I remember, you talk about the family time. I remember Mama Kathy, she always made this homemade pizza.
Yeah.
And it had everything on it. I'm talking about pounds of hamburger, pepperoni, sausage. If you were weird, my dad had his specialty with hot dogs. It was just like, it was just
hot dog on a pizza?
Hot dogs on a pizza.
Oh.
I mean, it was different. It was different. But the pizza and then Mama's cookies. Yeah. And it was just that family time that I really love, that tradition of just me and my sister, we getting together and we have that time. I think about the legacy of men, and I say this because I think it's true. Legacy is not what we leave with our children. Mm-hmm. The true legacy is what we leave in our children. Yep. Their mindsets. What's in their hearts, right? That inner, that joy that you can find, how to find that joy, how to keep that joy, how to protect that joy, how to protect your time, right? All those things matter. I want to transition real quick and leave the next 5-10 minutes, if we will, on what we need as fathers. To have a champion mindset. We talk about those things and be able to champion their purpose and almost as a reset of what every champion needs, what every father needs. When we talk to the men, what every man needs. And I want to say this for those who have lost their fathers. That shout out to you. Shout out to the fathers who are stepping up in the place of. Whether it's through adoption, whether it's through marriage, whatever it may be, whether it's just mentorship and you being a father figure to those young men. We need men like that. Because I believe every season comes and goes. There's, we have thunderstorms. Yeah. Sun's coming out today. It's gonna be cloudy days. The seasons in our lives don't always last. But I want to get serious real quick if we can, Gary, because it's football season is around the corner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Business seasons continue to grow. You got all these different things, relationships, all these different seasons in life and family. And we talk about, how to, stay healthy mentally there, in our relationships, our marriages, going through divorces, burnouts, all these things that men find. But also the struggle that men have with being real with each other. Yeah. Before we went live, I was sharing a story of how our mentor, got a group of us together and just talked about life. How's business going? Yeah. How are you doing financially? Like, let's be real with each other. How are you doing mentally? Are you good? And it was a time to check in. More than just fatherhood, let's speak about the health and the importance of men in those aspects, if you will. And I, just share your things that you believe from a reset standpoint of, hey, healthy men, creates healthy fatherhoods. Yeah. And healthy fatherhoods creates healthy families. And then you go to the community, it goes from there, right? What are some things that you believe we should do as men? Some things that you've gone through to reset your mindset from the burnt outs, from the mental health, from the struggles. I
think one of the things, and you hear every time you get on a plane, like if in case of emergency, before to put your mask on first before you help others. Yeah. And I think a lot of men don't put their mask on. And if they were, unfortunately, in a plane accident, right, they wouldn't survive. Yeah. So I think they have to learn to put the mask on themselves, to give themselves some oxygen, by taking care of their bodies, by working out, taking care of their minds, by taking care of their appearance, by having pride in what you look like. Cause that matters as well. Right. And it's all about, what type of image are you giving people, to respect you? Yeah. And I think all those things kind of, I always think back to this Deion Sanders quote, look good, feel good, play good, play good, they pay good. Yeah. Right. And I think, I hold on to that. So I want to make sure that I'm taking care of myself, that I'm looking good. It feels great when I'm getting dressed up for an event and my girl's like, "Oh, daddy, like, you cute. Like, where you going?" Right. And it's just like, yeah, I did that. Right. Yeah. So I think those sort of things help you reset. Right. Because I think a lot of times you don't show up because you don't have confidence. Right. And the more confidence you have, the more you feel like people need you, and they do need you, but you also need you. So taking care of yourself and building that confidence back, I think is a great start point in regards to a reset to get you back going in the right direction.
Yeah. And I think this is where our story as men becomes so powerful is when we're taking care of ourselves and we have that vulnerability with ourselves, the men in the mirror.
Yeah.
But also having accountability partners.
Yeah.
We're acronym junkies. I'm an acronym junkie. You have a framework on CHAMP, and I want to kind of break this down for the last couple of minutes and end it with this. And I think it's something we can build upon as we go into the next pod as well. My mind's already rolling on what we can discuss on this, but with this mid-year reset and framework, CHAMP, CHAMP, want to kind of go through these, and I'm going to shout them out to you and just kind of get your feedback, because if someone is listening today and they feel stuck, they feel like they're going through some things. And although this is we're highlighting fatherhood and manhood, this podcast, I believe this framework can be taken for anybody and for any ship, as we always talk about. But when it comes to the first thing we should do, I want you to think about some of these things. C is focusing on your current reality. What's actually happening? When we talk about the reset in your life, when you need to reset something, you're going through burnout, if you're going through divorce, if you're going through a struggle with your kids, there's some tension there. Dads ain't always perfect and kids ain't always right, but somewhere in the middle, we got to feel like we're working together and we're winning. When I say current realities and what's actually happening, why is that important to you when it comes to resetting? I
think a lot of people lie to themselves, and a lot of people aren't truthful with themselves. And I remember my dad saying to me, if you lie to yourself, who can you trust? Right. And, people are overweight and like, I'm in shape. I'm just a few pounds away. No, bro, you 50 pounds from where you were in high school. Right. Yeah. Financially, I'm good as gonna wait. No, bro, you're one accident away of it being like a disaster. Like, take care. So it's some of these things that are very crucial in our lives that we're not being honest about. So I think honesty first. If we're going on a destination, if I put a location in my GPS, it's gonna map it out. But the most important part of that is going to say, all right, where are you currently at? Yeah. And if I give it the wrong current location, you know what I'm saying? It's going to take me forever to get where I'm trying to go. Yeah. So that's why that accuracy is important about where you currently are. Yeah. And I think the thing about lying to yourself, as you said, who can you trust? But I also think about this, Gary. So often we lie to ourselves so long that we start believing a lie. Yeah. And then more than believing a lie, we start living that lie. And that's when it gets hard. And so the honest fact is so important, to be honest with yourself and be real. Like, keep it real with yourself. Because again, if you're lying to yourself, who can you trust, and who can trust you? To that H, home division. Yeah. Just as important as where you currently are, it's also about where you want to go. Yeah, where you really want to be. And painting that picture and not based on your current limitations. Yeah. So I think the challenge with dreaming and with people like foreshadowing is they base off the current situation, their current job, their current financial situation, if you were to do the things that you were capable of doing, showing up consistently, having the discipline, what's that reality? Yeah. And this is your permission to dream, because it's amazing how our mind and our reactor system in our brain, whatever we put out there, somehow we gravitate towards that. And that's why it's important for your dream to be accurate about the car, the house, the family, the lifestyle. Yeah. So then your mind can start drifting towards what it exactly is that you want. Yeah. The A is for applying the 80-20. You share a lot about this in the past on the podcast, but share a little bit about what's the importance, especially when it comes to producing the right results. Yeah, absolutely. So many times when people do a reset, they do a rechange, they're focused on things, they think of more. Yeah. And I believe it's really less. And I think the 80-20 really gives us the ability to either eliminate, either automate, or delegate some things. So the things that we should do that yields the most results, that's that 20% that we should be doing consistently. You said eliminate, automate, and then delegate. Yes, sir. I love that. M. Yeah. Massive action. When I think about massive action, what's one action you can take this week, right? You can't fix everything at once, but what's one thing? I love that book, The One Thing. And maybe in another episode, we talk about our top 10 books. Absolutely. Might be something we can focus on during the summer. But on the one thing, it talks about focus on it. What's the one thing that's going to help me get this goal? Talk a little bit about that massive action. Yeah. Once you identify what it is that works inside your house, inside your life, you got to do it consistently. You got to show up. It has to be massive. It can't just be a little bit some of the time. No, if you want a big change, not getting bored, doing the right thing consistently is what yield results. So we're talking about, weight loss, something like that. Massive to me is not about how much weight you lift. It's about your consistency on which you go to the gym. Yep. About which consistency about how you eat. You know what I'm saying? When you're outside of the gym, all those things to me are massive, because that's in the long run, it was what leads to change. Yeah.
And then P, pursuing. It's the pursuit. Yeah. Sometimes it's, we feel like we got to pursue perfection, but it's really about pursuit of excellence. Like everything you do, everything you say, everything you eat, how you speak, pursuing that championship lifestyle. Yeah.
I read before in a book that the definition of hell is on your deathbed, meeting the person that you're supposed to be. If you were consistent, if you were reliable, if you showed up, if you took massive action. So for me, I'm always pursuing the best version of myself. Like, what can I do today that my future self will be proud of? Yeah. And that's what kind of leads my actions and my activities. I see some people in their 60s and 70s. I'm like, man, they look good. Yeah. Like, what are you doing today? You're 60 and 70. Like, I started when I was 30. Right. So just like you got to start early to train yourself for that life that you want. It's not just going to happen all of a sudden. It's not, you definitely not going to be able to flip a switch, when you're 67 and retired.
There's no magic wand coming in to change anything.
No, it's residual, it's compound effect. You got to get started now, putting into work to determine and to decide that you're a champion and start living your lifestyle like that.
So for all the men out there, specifically for you today, to really kind of do a reset, whether it's in your relationship, business, friendships, this is just in your personal life, you need to just kind of reset your mind, reset your life, reset, the lifestyle you live in. You want to get some things situated. One of my favorite things about fatherhood is, again, it's not what we leave with our children, it's what we leave in them, and really getting this mindset. So I encourage you to speak about this. Once again, Champ. Current realities, checking in, what's actually happening at home, the vision, what do you really want? We talk about that, applying the 80-20. Yeah. Right. And producing what's producing those results, and not just producing the most results. It's about really being the right results, because you're producing something. Right? You want to have the right ones. Massive action. Taking that one action, that one step, that one leap, that one discipline, maybe taking a step back, or being still. And trusting the process. And then P, make sure you're pursuing the championship lifestyle, that you're not just living a life or living a lie, you're living a lifestyle. And that comes with everything that you do and say. Gary, one last word. Father's Day weekend. Shout out to the fathers.
The shout out to y'all, man. Happy Father's Day. Let's continue to celebrate one another. And just know it's just not about this one day or this one weekend of the year, right? Let's be consistent. Let's show up. Let's take back our families by being great individuals, great humans, and great community leaders.
Yeah, the one championship that you'll always be remembered by ain't on the football field. No. It's never in the boardroom. It's not on a balance sheet. It's really about the family that you're leaving and the lifestyle that you're leaving at your house and your home. So shout out to all the fathers out there, the men that are stepping up, birth fathers, adopted fathers, mentors, the men out there. Shout out to you this weekend. And once again, always champion your mindset so you can champion your purpose. George Rogers, the champ himself, Gary Brackett. Let's go.
Let's go.